If you've ever successfully lost weight, or alternatively have failed at it time and time again, you'll know it's no easy feat. While it is true that weight loss fundamentally comes down to calories in versus calories out, thinking of it as simply eating better and moving more can oversimplify how tough it really is. Both exercise and diet have various sub-steps to work on to get us where we need to be, with many of them taking a considerable amount of time, effort, and trial and error. That's why the people who have successfully reduced their body weight, regardless of the challenges, are truly deserving of our respect and admiration. Nonetheless, despite not being easy for anyone, the literature does appear to back up the proposition that women especially get the short end of the stick when it comes to it. For instance, a systematic review done in 2015 that examined the topic found that of 11 studies that reported significant male versus female sex differences in weight change, 10 demonstrated that men lost significantly more weight than women. But why is that? Well, today we'll give you several reasons. But first, as always, please take note of our disclaimer. Throughout human history, men and women have evolved to sustain humankind in different ways. Men have evolved to succeed in combat and hunting, while women had to bear children and nurture them from a reproductive point of view. Since muscle mass facilitates the former, this is partially why men have higher stores of it. In contrast, because essential fat serves as an energy and nutrient reserve for fetuses and helps to insulate and protect them, this is one of the main reasons women have higher body fat levels. Which leads us to our first reason as to why weight management is easier for men. Because of this general difference in muscle to fat ratio between sexes. That's because it affects metabolism, particularly your basal metabolic rate, or BMR for short. It's not uncommon for your BMR to be used interchangeably with resting metabolic rate because it relates to the calories that are being burned even when you aren't moving around to sustain your life-sustaining functions such as breathing, circulation, nutrient processing, and cell production. And your BMR is so relevant to weight as you can see in the graph here, it's responsible for burning as much as 70% of your overall daily calories. Indeed, many other factors influence BMR, including both those we can control and those we can't. However, the muscle to fat ratio is up there as one of the most impactful. Those with a higher muscle to fat ratio burn more calories through BMR, since their bodies require more energy to maintain the metabolically active muscle tissue. In other words, since men are inclined to have a higher muscle to fat ratio than women, they burn more calories at rest. And exactly how much more? Well, one study demonstrated this to be almost 1/4 more daily, with the male participants burning, on average, 1,740 calories daily by way of BMR, in comparison to women's 1,348. Moreover, on top of BMR contributing to metabolism, non-resting energy expenditure impacts it too, compromising the thermic effect of food, which is the cumulative increase in energy expenditure after several meals, and the thermic effect of activity, which is the energy required during and after physical activity. Again, that's the energy required both during and after physical activity. So metabolism also broadly encompasses the calories we burn while exercising and not just following exercise. And a higher muscle to fat ratio also impacts this thermic effect of activity, since muscle mass quantity, for one, increases the intensity and efficiency of your movements, facilitating more calories burned. And two, muscle mass increases what's known as the afterburn effect, following physical activity, where oxygen is consumed at an elevated rate to restore muscle glycogen and help repair and rebuild broken down muscle fibers, both processes that require calories for energy. In comparison, muscle mass is also thought to influence the thermic effect of food, yet the relationship is indirect and complex, so we won't get into that today. Next, another reason we guys have it easier with body weight is that there are differences in the distribution of fat between men and women. Men are most likely to store fat around the abdomen and upper body. This is known as android fat distribution, often described as an apple-shaped body. As a result, we're then also more prone to store visceral fat, the most dangerous type of fat that sits between the organs in our midsection and releases toxic substances. Now, while the increased disease risk that comes with that is definitely nothing to write home about, this type of fat is luckily a lot faster to lose than its counterpart, subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat is the pinchable kind and is found all over the body, and women are especially more likely to store it around the hips and thighs, also known as gynoid fat distribution or a pear-shaped body. In layman's terms, another advantage for us men concerning weight is that we can lose the type of fat we're susceptible to storing easier than the type of fat women are prone to storing. On a side note, if you'd like to undertake our evidence-based and results-backed personalised plate weight management program, please click the link in the top right-hand corner of the video or follow the link in the description. Lastly, hormonal influences explain why men lose weight easier than women too. The main hormonal differences between both sexes are testosterone and estrogen, with the former being the primary male sex hormone and the latter being the primary female sex hormone. Besides the necessity of evolution we spoke about earlier, this is also largely responsible for why men and women have variances in muscle to fat ratio, as well as contributing to differences in metabolism and body fat distribution. However, there are other hormones that make weight loss more challenging for women, like cortisol, for example. Of course, cortisol, aka the primary stress hormone, affects both sexes, but women have been found to be more sensitive to stress than men, indicating a harder time dealing with this hormone. And higher stress levels have been shown to hinder weight loss since it increases the consumption of comfort foods and reduces physical activity. Another hormone contributing to food intake that women experience more of is progesterone, since it increases hunger and cravings. This is especially true during certain phases of the menstrual cycle. Lastly, you might be aware that the impact of thyroid hormones can make weight loss harder for women. You may have even heard women using this as an excuse for not being able to lose weight before. Indeed, an underactive thyroid slows down metabolism, and women are more susceptible to this than men. However, one study suggests that the impact of hypothyroidism on weight over 12 months is only about 2 kilos on average. So, although thyroid problems make things trickier for women when it comes to weight, this can certainly be overcome with the right POA. What are your thoughts on this? We'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. So, that has been our video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.